people want to assess blame is where people want to go with this, of course.
Yeah. We've had several days to internalize this and what happened, and it was such an anomaly for anything that we've seen at Ohio State this season, last season, or any of the last 20-some seasons. I mean, the last time they lost to Michigan by double digits, I guess, was 2003. They lost to them. I guess just last year they lost to them by double digits, but to get blown out kind of the way that it turned out, that goes back quite a ways. And a lot of worsts and firsts connected to this game, and worst margin of defeat at home for Ohio State to Michigan since 1976. 22-0 was the score then. This was a 22-point loss. And first time back-to-back wins for Michigan in the series since 1999 and 2000. But, aside from all that, you wonder about how does something like this happen? And I look at it, it wasn't a case where Michigan started the game and just blew them out from start to finish. I mean, this was still an 8-point game with 7 minutes to go after Ohio State had kicked the field goal to get it, figuratively a manageable game. And it just got away from them like a snowball rolling downhill. They gave up the 2 long touchdown runs at the end that really padded the score for Michigan. And Ohio State was unable to answer. 2 interceptions late in the game by C.J. Stroud, and that was that. So, I don't know. I guess into everybody's life, a bit of rain must fall at some point. And Michigan, I wouldn't even say for lack of trying, because it seems like Jim Harbaugh has been trying to leave that job for the last several years, has stumbled upon the right collection of assistant coaches and players to turn the tide against Ohio State. I read, I don't remember the exact year, but just something about how they beat Ohio State and Michigan State in the same year for a first time in a long time or something as well. But, they are on top of the world right now. And, Ohio State is left to kind of hold the bag and wonder what's next. Is it the Rose Bowl? Could it be a college football playoff? And Ohio State fans alternately are juggling their hatred for their own coaches and players with the idea that I still want to play in a playoff game. I still want to play in a playoff game, but I hate our coaches and players. So, which is it, people?
It's all of it. And tenfold in the hating and the frustration. I think you can assign blame wherever you want, and plenty of people share it. I think going away from the run, Ohio State ran the ball like 20 times for 125 yards in the first half and ran the ball 9 times in the second half. And, if it's working, keep doing it until it's not working. Dialing up some of the blitzes and when maybe you didn't need to, and then also players not being in their gaps and not being fundamentally sound, losing their focus there in the secondary. 5 plays covering 349 yards of total offense for Michigan. 2/3 of their offense came from 5 touchdown plays. And so just breakdowns there as well. And through it all, Michigan never blinked. They never flinched. They just kept going. They came into the game with confidence. Ohio State came into the game with hope. And I wrote about this, I think, after the game. Hope, the other side of hope is doubt. And when the tides start to turn, you start to see that doubt. And I think that's what happened there. And I left the press box after the field goal to make it 8. And I finally get down to like the track area. And then I just see Donovan Edwards going free on his first touchdown run. And that was basically it. And Ohio State, it reminded me of the Oregon game last year where there was desperation and there was some hope, but you never really thought that it was going to work out for Ohio State once they were down 2 scores. And you saw the results.
Yeah, I obviously got in late, so I assume we're talking about what went wrong, and there was, again, not a
San Diego State basketball. Yeah.
Well, that game was just a mess too, but it was the first moment that I said, "Uh-oh, the guys may be in trouble," was when J.J. McCarthy carried a couple of Ohio State defenders on like a 14-yard run. And that was in the second half after Ohio State had held Michigan to, 1 yard in the first half on the ground or something like that. Ohio State, took 3s and 0s in the first half when it should have taken 7s and really should have had Michigan in a hole. And, we can sit there and debate, until the cows come home, what the game would have looked like under those circumstances if Ohio State would have been more successful early on in the game. But it was just really a couple of big plays, five, I guess, that told the story there. Now there's, now it's going to be a cold, dark winter and summer and everything else over the next 360 some odd days to, for Ohio State fans, and a lot of questions if, this team that has been built to win national championships is built to beat Michigan. And, you need to finish step A before you can really worry about step B. And to Steve's point, as I had just gotten into the chat about what happens if Ohio State backdoors its way into the playoff. I mean, there's going to be so much self-loathing at that point, and I can already rip the headlines out. Oh, we don't want to play Georgia. They're going to stomp on us. But so I guess we're just going to have to see. But it makes for a lot of great podcasts and talk radio, and I guess I'm here for that. But I would be much happier talking on a happier note.